right. Did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes? Okay, did anyone want to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I would make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thanks,
Will
Susan.
does a nice job.
Anyone second that?
I'll second.
Okay, did anyone see any corrections or edits that needed to be made there? All right, well, we'll assume everyone's going to vote in approval of that. So minutes approved. Does not appear that we have any appearances tonight. So moving on to our first item, Will has down business under city meetings, streaming and recording.
Oh.
So we didn't really have anything additional to discuss there because we did discuss that at length last time. The only thing that I didn't, because really our discussion kind of got a little derailed more into procedure. And what I was just supposed to get was how many folks on the committee are uncomfortable with being recorded. That's what we're reporting back to the council right now. So if there's anyone on the committee that's uncomfortable with that, would you want to let me know right now? And then I won't say your name. I will just let people know a count of how many people are comfortable or not comfortable. Claire?
I'm comfortable being recorded.
Okay. Phil?
No problem.
Okay. Katie?
Yep, that's fine.
Amelia?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Eric?
Yep.
Okay. Susan?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm used
great.
to that.
Okay, yeah, I figured you were. Okay, awesome. Thanks, everybody. Then on to, oh my cat is going crazy. So forgive me if he flies across the screen. Under new business, I see there's committee appointments. Did you have something on that, Sam?
Yes, I'm going to sign into a different computer.
Will's
But,
All right.
while I talk, I will sign in. Basically, a few people are up for appointments. Becca Reynolds is stepping down. And I'm sorry, I think one of you is up for appointment. Phil is up, and I think Phil, so Phil, you got big news, you're moving.
Yes, that's true. We're moving to the far east side of Madison, probably sometime in April.
So I know you had mentioned you couldn't serve, and I know the mayor emailed you, so we can talk about that later. Because you don't have to be a city resident, but I also understand if you got some changes and going to be tough to keep going or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I'm still kind of on the fence on it, thinking about what's best for the committee and for everything else. So I'd like to just think about it a little bit.
Understood. And then, so Becca, and then we never filled another position, so we've always been down a position as well. There's supposed to be 8 community members. So anyhow, this is just my update of committee members and committee appointments and where we're at there. So nothing big.
All right. Good update.
Other than Phil's got a new house coming. Is it an upgrade, bigger house, smaller house, newer house, cooler house?
It's a newer house, maybe a little bit of an upgrade of the house, but we live in a really nice neighborhood in Monona, so it's maybe a little bit of a downgrade of a neighborhood. But yeah, maybe a little bit nicer house. Gives us something that is more concentrated on sort of what we want to live in right now.
Cool. Well, congrats. That's all I had for committee appointments.
All right. Well, you're on again. The video studio updates.
So I think we just got everything out of our 5 rooms that are part of the video studio. In fact, oops, for fun, let's see if I can pull up a picture just for fun, but we also don't have to take a bunch of time. My update is that we are completely out of the video studio area out of all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms. And we are in a closet that used to be Eric Redding's office.
Terrible. That's a tiny, tiny little place.
It is, but we got 2 computers in there. We took everything out of there. And so we have a nice little cozy spot that we're going to be positioned in for the next 3 months, and everything else is in the orchestra pit.
Nice.
And then when we come back, hopefully it'll be great and we can have a meeting there and everybody can see it.
Nice. Any questions for Will on that? All right. The newsletter.
I'll let Sam talk about that because she knows everything about it because she did it all.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we launched the first city e-newsletter this week on the 10th, which was yesterday. We already have over 700 subscribers.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
that's really good. We're taking news from every department in the city and putting it in there, and we have lots of links. And we're just trying to be informative and communicate with the community.
Yeah, it was really comprehensive. I really appreciated that.
Thanks.
Anyone else have comments? We are rolling right through this. All right, we're on to the director's
Actually,
report.
one quick
Oh.
question on the newsletter, because how often is it coming out?
Right now it's just going to be monthly.
Monthly? Okay, awesome, cool.
Okay, Will.
Reports?
Yep, you're on director's report.
Yeah. Because we're going so fast, why not stick with that? I sent the document that has all of our kind of just our breakdown of some of the projects we've been working on.
Yeah.
So you guys have that in front of you. I guess I'll say if there's any projects you want to know more about, feel free to ask. Right now, for the last week or so, we've been busy getting out of that video studio area, and now we're going to be in the closet. We've been doing a lot of Teach To videos. So we did it for the high school and for MG21, which is coming back to school. Now you need to know how to go to the bathroom because that's different. And now you need to know how to get on the bus because that's different. And now you need to know how to walk in the hallway because that's different. And where to park and how to use your locker. And, so those type of things of what for students to know how to do school a new way this year for a couple months. So we've done a number of those and we're still making them to this day, as well as principal update videos with Mitch at the high school.
I will say those videos are incredibly helpful on like how to come into the school and all of that. Those are really well done. Good job on those. Anyone else have anything?
I'm trying to think of any like initiatives or anything coming up. I mean, the newsletter was the big one as far as kind of this new avenue that we're going down
Yeah, that's
to
great.
kind of work with the city. Sustainability committee has a project they're working on with MG21 and us, which is interviewing community members who have sustainable projects in their home or at their business, and then making videos that they can share on their website. They're making a story map, if you guys have heard of that. So that's what they'll be making online. And then of course, we'll be sharing it on social media and things like that. So I don't know exactly when that's going to actually kick off, but we've been working with MG21 and Brad at Sustainability Public Works project manager and sustainability representative for the committee, I guess, for the city representative. So that'll be another good one that will be beneficial for the newsletter. We continue to grapple with, and I don't say this that we need to have a discussion now, but we do continue to grapple with how do we deal with social media? Are we dealing with it the right way as far as a WVMO page and a Monona Community Media page? Maybe it is the right way to do it and we don't need to change anything, but we still think about it because it's still 6 pages plus, 2 Instagram, 2 this, 2 that, and then a YouTube page. So we just kind of like on the back burner for Sam and I that we think about occasionally. And then of course we do a lot of thinking about next year and how we're going to regroup for the school year and what that might look like. Haven't done a whole lot of that because once we get back in the studio, we pretty much have to then redesign the whole studio because it's just going to be one big empty space. So yeah, that's kind of some of the things we are thinking about and having fun with, and I'm trying to stretch. I can see somebody in front of the camera, the floor manager's going, stretch. We got 2 more minutes until commercial. It's only been 15 minutes.
No need to stretch for us.
I was going to just throw in a comment. I think the social media thing is worth keeping on the back burner and thinking about. But I also did want to just give another, applaud to the newsletter, because I am the millennial voice on the radio. And I have noticed that my fellow millennials are starting newsletters and leaving Instagram because they're sick of ads and giving their information up to Facebook corporations. So I think that the newsletter, it's also just been, we use Constant Contact with the library, and I know that it's a big source of how people find out about what's happening at the library. So I think that was a really good decision to jump into that. And I'm very impressed that you embedded a YouTube video that I can play in the newsletter. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you.
Will you be tracking data in there, Sam, and looking at stats and keeping a log of that for?
Oh yeah, they Constant Contact makes that all really easy. You can see how many people clicked on things and how many people opened it, all of that. So I can share that with you guys if you want.
Yeah, that might be great.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Then we're off to committee ideas.
Sorry, one really quick question.
Yes, please.
Have you and Sam had conversations? Obviously, students sort of coming back, later this, I forget when, March or April, whenever it is. I know extracurricular activities are separate, and there's limited stuff like that. But have you had any conversations about the students that have been involved, about kind of? I know you said you haven't really figured out 100% of the game plan. But had any sort of conversations with students or internally about kind of trying to get something together either later this year into the summer, or are you pretty much just kind of waiting completely into the fall once you've got the construction and everything like that?
Yeah. As far as recruitment and stuff.
Recruitment, helping with the projects and stuff you guys got going on.
Students specifically. I'm sorry, I didn't hear everything. You're talking about students though specifically?
Yeah, with the students. Yeah, have you had?
Yes, thank you.
Have you had any conversations with them yet, or are you guys thinking about doing something like that?
No, honestly, no. I mean, we do the announcements once a week, and a student pretty much takes care of that. And so we have some announcers that, essentially will return, but there are no students interacting with us on a AV club level right now, other than our youth apprentice. We do reach out on the Slack app, which we've used in the past to communicate. We don't really get anybody commenting. I've been putting pictures up of the studio, taking stuff out, it looks empty, and kind of commenting. And the people who are commenting are Ethan, Evan, David, the people who graduated in 2019 who are, you know, or 2020, whatever, yeah, whatever year it is, doesn't matter. Who are, you know, like, oh, cool, and the current students aren't even engaging at all. So it could just be that they never got into the Slack app thing because they were newer and now it's not happening and it's been a year. So we're not really getting an engagement, and I haven't, nor have Sam and I really talked about what can we do right now. We're not really sure what we can do right now with no studio and a closet, and how do we deal with equipment and wiping it down after they use it, and then how do we teach them, because we can't really be 6 feet apart to teach somebody how to use a camera. So I don't know. It's honestly, I feel a little daunted by that task, and I'm not sure how to approach it. So I've kind of just been in denial about maybe just waiting till the fall. But then I also know that that's not totally realistic. So I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Well, I will throw out there that, you know, if you guys start thinking about this, you know, if you know, dealing with the students obviously is something that you have to directly do. But if you've got questions about, you know, procedures and how you handle that, I know with my company and a lot of other folks, and Mac probably has stuff, and other folks here, you know, we can tap into some of the resources that we have in our professional lives that I think can get you some of the, here's best practices for doing video shoots or doing this or whatnot. So if we can kind of help, you know, be that resource to help, you know, make that a little bit less daunting of a task, you know, Sam, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be more than happy to share a lot of the procedures and things we've done to make sure you can do some of that stuff in a safe manner. Because I think it'll
Yeah,
be
cool.
important to, you know, to get the students back involved, to talk about having students having some level of return to normal. You
I know.
Your favorite
I know.
clubs.
Well,
I think
and
are really important.
also struggle at what they can do. Like, what can we possibly do? Everything's on Zoom. What, I mean, can we have them make videos, and what would those videos be? So yeah, but I appreciate that, because that's going to definitely be part, like how does that look? And then I also kind of want to figure out what other clubs and people are going to be doing when students return. What are they doing, and how are they making it work? And how can we steal some of those ideas?
I'm having a really hard time hearing. Phil, I don't know if you know that you're not on mute. There's a lot of background noise going on. Thank you. Yeah, I was having a really hard time hearing what was happening.
Or Sam, can you mute him? Because I know he's driving, so maybe he can't get to it. I don't know if the host can, I think the host can mute.
I was
Sounds
just
good
gonna
now.
jump
It
in
is.
off of what Eric was kind of saying, and Will. I agree that it would be nice to get the kids back in AV Club, but it also seems like from the perspective of the partnership between the city and the school district, it doesn't sound like the school district has enormous expectations for extracurricular clubs like that for this year. I mean, the months of April, May, and June are going to be challenging enough for all the staff at the schools, right? So it seems like you're doing things, you, Will, and Sam are doing things that support the school district without being the same AV Club experience we're used to. And then
So
hopefully
we're back to school in hybrid with the high school in March. And
right, okay.
I think one of the major difficulties, and Will, I could be wrong about this, has been the not having the studio as a spot for them to come. And they've reopened the sports with the Dane County Memo 13 in a limited arena. So I really think now that the vaccines are coming out, in 2 months, we'll be able to start to see some kind of normalcy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully. It doesn't seem like the expectations are not being met was my point. And so,
Right.
you know, if you can go above and beyond and offer something to give the kids a space, that's great. You know, especially because it is hard being, I was a kid who was not a sports kid and was like a clubs kid, and that's hard. But I do think that there are some limitations to that, and that's okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that too, Amelia. I just want to reiterate something that Eric said, that yes, schools will have additional requirements, right? So like whatever your best practices are, yes, great, but also schools have our own requirements that may not mesh with those. And also it will entirely depend on which students come back. Not everyone will be back. Many will, I'm sure. But also, as Susan mentioned, it's a hybrid schedule, right? So students who do come back are not in the building every day. And so finding those days that might match up for the students who come back, it's all, I mean, it would be sort of a scheduling issue also, if you wanted to have these in-person interactions. But I do think there's also opportunities for, again, like, we don't know what graduation is going to look like yet. I specifically asked public health to start thinking about that guidance now, because our students are thinking about it. I know our families are thinking about it, and we need to make sure that we have something planned, and they don't know, because they don't know what the numbers are going to look like then, right? So they're really hesitant to say. Last year we were sort of thrown really for a loop. This year we have a little bit more time to plan. We know it's not going to be normal. We know that for sure. But I wonder too about like a senior spotlight. Like last year we did social media senior spotlight. I wonder if there's something like, I don't know, something different that might work. But I agree to Amelia's point. I don't think that there's an expectation that the details of our agreement aren't being met. That's certainly not the case. They're just being met in different ways this year.
Yeah, and part of the struggle too is that it was already going to be a tough year. It was already going to be a very tiny club, like literally 3 people, 4 people. So we already started this year with a very small number, even if it was a regular year. So yeah, it's kind of a struggle all around.
Okay, any other comments on that? So does anyone have any ideas for future discussion or future meetings? Will or Sam, is there any support you need in any way?
I'll stick with, and we need to, I guess, be better at this, is reaching out to you guys as far as help with any radio voices and or help with video projects if people aren't afraid of being on camera. One thing I am alluding to is when we last year and the year before got grants from the Tourism Commission to do some tourism video projects, more so footage, not necessarily final edited pieces. We now need to, now that COVID's ramping down, we can now get some of that this summer. As far as, families at the riverfront, Grand Crossing Park, and people docking their boats and kind of making that tourism travel Wisconsin quick social media video. When we start needing actors and actresses and kids and stuff, that's where we might reach out and talk to people and see who wants to be involved and stuff. And same with like voices on the radio. Those are the things I think about. And then I guess if there's initiatives that our department wants to take, or you guys think are good, like sustainability, they go gangbusters on stuff. Like 100% sustainable by whenever, so if there's like initiatives like that you guys would like to see or you want to talk about, I'm open to that, as opposed to it always being me talking about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And
Well, that's really nice of you to encourage us. And again, if you come down on the islands and come out onto the ice on the lake, it's a whole different world. There must be 8 rinks shoveled with kids out there skating. And in the spring, actually, the temperature dropped to like 30 degrees and our neighbor was out barefooting in a wetsuit. So I'll give you a call and just say if there are any of those kind of things that would be fun to see or to watch, a way to film them and see what you think.
Yeah, I mean, water play will be good for tourism. I mean, we definitely need to show off the area, and I say the river rink for instance in the winter because it's more of a tourism thing than, you know, perhaps a shoveled area on the lake.
Maybe the ice fishermen, that could be a, you know, that's a great fishing
Right.
lake. So the tourism piece of going out
Right.
at Frostwoods there, or even Stonebridge. I've got one I was going to ask you and Sam about if we could, we're on the Landmarks Commission, we're working on the National Register project. And we have a consultant that's going to be writing the proposal for the bungalow in. And so we were wondering if, I know we talked a little about this before about doing a video project on that. Right now, we're just looking for maybe some B-roll footage when he's down there, and if you could grab an interview of him while he's down there so he doesn't have to come back, and then we'd finish it up maybe in the summer when it's, you know, prettier and there's vegetation. If you're open to that we're looking at probably April on that.
Yeah, I don't see why not. April's good. That's,
Okay,
you know,
great.
that'll be good for, because you're thinking outside, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll all be outside.
That'll be good.
Okay, great. Excellent.
I have a question that actually came out of just like a personal experience about listening to WVMO and catching like the tail end of like a event promotion and not hearing the whole thing and not being able to go anywhere to find out what it was. So I guess, I don't know if the newsletter would be a great place for that. I'm sure you're going to be looking for content for that, or but monthly maybe won't work. I don't know. And I don't want to create work either, but it just sort of happened where we were like, oh, that would be really fun, but what was it? And now we don't know where to go for it. So even just thinking about like where it was, I don't know, something to do with dinosaurs, because my children are super into dinosaurs right now. So, but it was like, but then I just was like, oh, I don't know where to, like, if that must happen regularly. So I don't know, but it's just an idea of like, maybe we can be thinking of a place, like a landing place for that sort of stuff. I don't know.
Right, like WVMO, events on WVMO or being broadcast this month on WVMO, these events or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't that we talked about that with the 7 Generations thing going on right now. And Sam, was that on SoundCloud?
Yeah, SoundCloud for something like that. Yeah.
You could almost create a SoundCloud archive unless you've already got that.
I mean, we do have a SoundCloud page. Yeah. And then starting to archive more of these things onto SoundCloud would be a great idea. The events thing. Yeah, I guess you could go to that to listen to it. But yeah, I wonder if there's a better way we can do that onto the website. Although I guess it could just be a link to SoundCloud.
Yeah, you could just have a tab. Yeah, or
Right.
just a link to it. Yeah, that'd be really helpful. I've been in the same boat where I've been looking for something that I heard.
Yeah, and it would maybe not create as much work then, because it's not like you're constantly refreshing content. It's like an archived link. Like if you were looking for the dinosaur talk, click here or something, whatever it is. Like, yeah, I don't know.
And then it's a nice resource for Sam when she's making the newsletter. She's got this. It's always
What was
right there.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, great suggestion.
No, that's a great idea. And that's actually a great point. Please feel free to always let us know if you're hearing something on the radio or something regarding that, because the radio is probably our biggest beast that we have to feed every single day, all the time. And so kind of bringing everything together with that sometimes gets lost. So I appreciate kind of helping to connect the dots on those type of things.
Do you have any way, because I get this question a lot, is people asking me what the listenership is at, and do you have any way of tracking that? Have we?
We don't really. You have to subscribe to Nielsen to get their numbers.
Got it.
And that would, I mean, I don't think the money we'd pay would be worth it, because we'd end up, it'd be a good chunk of our budget to be a subscriber to Nielsen every year. But Lindsay once told me that he was driving behind this truck that had all the Nielsen numbers, and he hit a bump and these numbers came out, and it was somewhere around like 10,000 listeners.
Oh yeah, I've
week.
heard that number. Okay. Well, maybe that's something, because I think in Constant Contact newsletters, I think sometimes you can do a poll, or you can, have a little survey question if you want another piece of engagement. That might be nice, anytime you're kind of wanting to track some data, that might be something. It's not comprehensive, of course, because it's not reaching everybody, but.
Well, but perhaps feedback from our listeners,
Yeah.
our hardcore listeners, I guess. Yeah, our Kirk Swenson, who's at the moment the volunteer kind of music director, does a lot of work. He had mentioned that again, that he'd love to do some type of survey to get an idea of what people are feeling and what they like and dislike and how they're liking the radio station.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll start putting polls in the newsletter.
Yeah, maybe like, what's your favorite show, and do a multiple choice so people, and make it as easy as possible. Might
Yeah,
be kind of fun, and then you can share the information on social media, or
I like that. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you bet. All right, any other ideas?
Oh, I just wanted to share that everybody should call into the radio station tonight and record a Valentine's Day message for a loved one so that we can air them on Valentine's Day.
Nice.
Very
Good call. 216-7431. That's 216-7431. Call now.
fun. Yesterday, my kids asked me to be their Valentine. They're still young enough that they still like me.
Awesome.
That's my daughter.
That's so sweet.
The clock is ticking on her. She just turned 12. So I'm like, oh, good. She still likes me. Yeah. All right. Cool idea. That's really nice. And so will you run those on Valentine's Day or prior?
Yep. Yeah. We'll just run a boatload on Valentine's Day all day long.
Sweet. That's going to be really fun. Gosh, we all need more heartwarming moments like that. So thanks for doing that.
I know it's pretty funny. We got a bunch of them, and then Lindsay does one. And you're like, oh yeah, I wish we had them all like that. Here's
Yeah,
like,
because he's so professional.
it's a 30-second. Don't worry about it.
Oh, cool. So call in tonight. Is there a time frame, or just?
Oh, I was just saying tonight because we're going to load them tomorrow. So anytime
okay,
tonight.
okay. Okay, cool. All right. Anything else, folks? All right. How about
one quick thing now that I'm thinking about it. If you guys are interested, we could start doing a little bit of like, here's how the radio station works, or here's how this works or that works. If there's things that you guys are interested in as the committee that you don't know about, what we do, but maybe you don't know how it works or the behind the scenes or whatever, feel free to think about that a little bit. And we could kind of easily do that through some pictures and screen share and blah, blah, blah.
Cool. Okay. All right. Every time I say, okay, we're winding down, someone comes up with an idea. So I'm testing you. Okay. Well, let's call for a motion to adjourn. Okay.
Oh, wait, one more thing.
There
No,
it is.
Just kidding.
Nice. Well done. All right. Motion to adjourn from anyone.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right. And we're all in favor, right? Boom. Done. All right. Have a great night, everyone.
All right, thanks. I'll have a camera next time.
Yeah. It'll be nice to see your face.
Thank you.